Are you planning to defend yourself? The cold voice echoed sharply across the silent courtroom. Judge Virginia Coleman stared directly at the young woman standing at the defendant's stand, her eyes a mix of surprise and sarcasm. This isn't some ethics philosophy class, young lady. A soft murmur spread through the courtroom. A student barely out of her 20s, wearing a wrinkled white shirt, her face still dotted with sweat, daring to face the Travis County Court alone, without a lawyer? No one could believe it. But Elena Ramirez didn't flinch. She clenched the stack of documents in her hand, took a deep breath, then nodded. I am fully capable of defending myself, Your Honor. The air seemed to freeze. People came expecting a routine criminal trial, but no one anticipated witnessing a spectacular showdown between a law student and the massive legal system. They thought she was reckless, foolish, arrogant, but no one knew Elena had been preparing for this moment for 2 whole years. She was accused of stealing public property, a city vehicle, and resisting arrest. A conviction could send her to prison for up to 5 years. But Elena knew there was a dark conspiracy behind this seemingly simple case, orchestrated by those in power. And today, she was going to make them pay. She wasn't just here to defend herself. She was here to expose a system rotting from within. She was a law student, self-taught, no mentor, no lawyer, no reputation. But she had one thing they didn't: the truth, and the courage to speak it. 3 minutes later, the very prosecutor who sneered when she walked into the courtroom bowed his head in silence, because Elena had just dropped a piece of evidence that shook the entire trial. And that was only the beginning. Elena stood tall, her gaze unwavering, while whispers buzzed softly throughout courtroom 3 in Travis County, Texas. On the bench, Judge Coleman tilted her head, her eyes heavy with judgment. The atmosphere was thick, as if every spotlight in the room focused not to illuminate, but to burn Elena alive. Across the aisle, Prosecutor Maxwell Graves, a seasoned veteran with over 20 years on the job, smirked faintly. In his files, Elena was just a small pawn, a college student caught driving a city vehicle without proper papers, no lawyer, and bold enough to defend herself. This farce will end quickly, Maxwell thought as he stood to open the trial. Your Honor, he began, his voice sharp as a scalpel. This case is straightforward. Defendant Elena Ramirez was caught red-handed operating a city vehicle valued at over $42,000 without authorization. Furthermore, when ordered to stop, she fled and resisted law enforcement. The evidence is clear: witnesses, security footage, and arrest reports. A simple, swift case. Elena sat silently, hands clenched under the table like holding a ticking bomb. But her calm exterior was not ignorance. It was preparation. After the prosecutor's smug opening, Elena slowly stood up. No lawyer to script her words. No one to remind her don't get emotional or play by the rules. Just her and the truth. Your Honor, she began, her voice steady, not trembling as expected. I do not deny being in that vehicle, but the vehicle was not stolen, and I did not run from police officer. I ran from an unknown man, not in uniform, without a badge, without identifying himself. With the court's permission, I will present evidence. Laughter broke out at the back of the room. Some whispered, "This girl is digging her own grave." But Judge Coleman's eyes shifted slightly. Not just disdain now, but a flicker of caution. "Evidence," the judge asked. Elena nodded, placing a stack of documents on a table. "Security footage from the grocery store across the street from the scene. It shows a man not in uniform approaching me. There's no audio confirming he identified himself as a police officer." The room's atmosphere shifted instantly. Maxwell jumped up. "Objection. This evidence was not shared with the prosecution." Judge Coleman snapped, "Sit down, Graves. I will review this evidence." For the first time in his career, Prosecutor Graves was interrupted by a college student. Elena continued, "I will prove the vehicle I was in was not stolen, but loaned by a family member of the owner. And more importantly, the person who reported the police is the one trying to cover that up. One lie got me handcuffed. Another lie could send me to prison. But today, I will show the court the truth they don't want to face. Silence fell like a heavy curtain. Every eye locked on Elena, not as a defeated girl, but a real threat. She was no longer a student. She had become an opponent. Judge Coleman nodded, eyes fixed on Elena. Ms. Ramirez, you have the right to defend yourself. But if you intend to turn this trial around, you better be prepared. Because if you fail, the consequences won't be just a sentence. It will be your honor, your career, and your future. Elena met her gaze directly. Your Honor, I have been preparing for 2 years. Today, I am not here to beg for mercy. I am here to overturn a verdict written without even asking me a single question. And in that moment, the trial was no longer a legal procedure. It had become a battlefield. Graves walked back to his desk, gripping his pen so tightly it nearly snapped. He had never been forced to back down by a defendant before, especially not a college student. But what stung him the most was that the crowd in the courtroom was now leaning toward Elena. No more sneers, no more pitying looks, only anticipation. They were waiting for her to drop something big enough, strong enough to shake the whole system. Elena Ramirez, he repeated, tried to keep his tone cold. You say you have proof the car wasn't stolen. Do you have confirmation from the owner? Elena met his gaze calmly. No confirmation, because he's deceased. But I have a recording from his grandson, who gave me the car keys. She pulled out a USB drive and plugged it into the projector. A young man's voice played. Yeah, my uncle lent her the car. My grandpa doesn't drive anymore. He barely leaves the house. Elena is my sister's friend. She helped me shop and drove him to a few appointments. Lending the car was normal. The courtroom fell completely silent. Graves said nothing. Elena continued, and if the court needs it, I have video showing me driving him to the hospital in that very car. License plate visible, date and time stamped. Graves suddenly stood, clearly losing control. Your Honor, none of this changes the fact she was caught fleeing and refusing to cooperate. Elena turned to face him directly. I ran because that officer wasn't in uniform and didn't show a badge. A tall, white man shouting at me on an empty street. What did he expect me to do? Just stay and be arrested? As a woman, I was taught to run, and I would do it again if it happened the same way. Judge Coleman leaned forward slightly. Elena, you say that officer wasn't in uniform. Do you have any images? Elena smiled faintly. Yes. She pulled up footage from the convenience store security camera. A man in a black t-shirt, no badge, no police insignia, approached her car with his hands in his pockets, giving no indication he was a cop. A low murmur spread through the courtroom. Some spectators whispered, if it were me, I'd run too. Graves snapped angrily. You're twisting the law based on feelings. Not wearing a uniform doesn't mean he's not a cop. Elena nodded, and that's why I requested the court summon the body cam footage. If you're the real cop, he has to wear a body cam. Let's see it in this courtroom. Graves went pale. Judge Coleman turned to him. Prosecutor, do you have the body cam footage? Graves was silent. He searched his pockets, whispered on the phone, then replied, There's no data. The recording failed. A woman in the gallery laughed. Faulty timing, huh? Elena stepped forward. I'm not just here to defend myself. I want to ask, why would a cop ignore rules about wearing a uniform and body cam? And why did he claim I assaulted him when there's no sign of injury? She placed a medical report on the desk. The officer had been examined immediately after, completely uninjured. Graves tried to regain control. But you still broke the law. You don't have a license. Elena nodded. I admit that. But it doesn't make me a thief or an assailant of an officer. It's a minor violation, not a reason to twist the entire case. Judge Coleman looked over the files, then back at Elena. And you say all this has been ignored for 2 years? Elena answered, Yes, because I couldn't afford a lawyer. Every time I asked for a review, the case was delayed. I was suspended from school, lost my scholarship, and branded a criminal. But I didn't give up, because I know I'm not wrong. The courtroom fell into a profound silence, as if witnessing an uneven battle where the underdog was slowly gaining the upper hand. Graves retreated to his desk, sweat dripping down his forehead. Elena sat down, letting out a soft breath, but her eyes still shone, as if she knew the bigger fight was yet to come, because she hadn't finished speaking, and the real twist had yet to begin. Elena thought she was getting close to justice, but she had no idea that what she was about to uncover was far darker and more dangerous. The next morning, while the trial was paused for the prosecution to review additional evidence, Elena went to her old school library, where she had worked as a teaching assistant before being suspended. She needed something she had secretly kept, a copy of her scholarship application, signed by the very officer who had arrested her. His name, Derek V. Morgan, who, it turned out, used to be the school's academic security manager. She clearly remembered an afternoon 3 months before her arrest, when she submitted a request for extra class hours to earn a language teaching certificate. The only person who blocked her application was him. But why would a police officer interfere with the student scholarship? Why was he the same man who coincidentally arrested her in a questionable situation without any body cam footage? Elena opened her laptop and accessed the internal email system where she had sent her scholarship application, and was shocked. An internal memo leaked from the archive read, "Candidate Elena Ramirez, excessively prominent. She should not be allowed into the teaching program. Closely monitor her behavior outside the classroom." Sender D. Morgan. Date, 5 weeks before the arrest. Her heart pounded. Elena dug deeper and found another email sent to the school's HR from the same address. "If I can't suspend her academically, I will use her off-campus conduct to take action." The floor seemed to shake beneath her feet. This was no longer a personal misunderstanding. This was a deliberate plan to take her down. She printed all the documents and emailed them to the community lawyer she had just been referred to. Then she headed back to the courthouse. At that trial session, Graves had prepared one last counterattack. He presented a file showing that Elena had previously been warned by the school for overstepping teaching boundaries. Specifically, that she had taught immigrant students how to write letters challenging local labor policies. "You abused your teaching position to spread rebellious ideas," he declared loudly. Elena didn't deny it. Instead, she stepped up to the witness stand and, for the first time, told the whole story. "Maybe I shouldn't have taught them how to write those letters. Maybe I shouldn't have encouraged them to question authority. But if you had seen a mother lose her job because she couldn't speak English, or a child crying in class because they didn't understand their teacher, what would you do? I only did what my heart forced me to do." The courtroom fell silent. Then she played her final card, a printed email from Derek Morgan. "He was monitoring me even before the arrest. Not because I broke the law, but because I threatened the order he was protecting, a school that doesn't want people like me to succeed." She turned to the judge, her eyes calm, not pleading. "I don't want him in jail. I just want my honor restored. And for all the students who have had their voices taken away, I want to give them a chance." Graves stood speechless. He knew the battle was over, not with harsh arguments, but with the truth. Underscore, 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 underscore. That afternoon, the courtroom was deathly quiet as Judge Coleman read the verdict. The court finds insufficient grounds to continue the trial against defendant Elena Ramirez. All charges are hereby dismissed. Furthermore, the court recommends an internal investigation into possible bias and student surveillance by Mr. Derek Morgan. Elena didn't cry. She simply closed her eyes and sighed. In a world where justice is often a luxury, sometimes the truth still speaks. Underscore, 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 underscore. The courtroom atmosphere had begun to settle after Elena dismantled the entire case, turning around what seemed an impossible situation. But just when everyone thought justice had been served, something felt off. The judge looked down at Prosecutor Jackson, who had coldly pursued Elena for months, and said, "Before we adjourn, does the prosecution have any final remarks?" Jackson stood, expression unchanged. But instead of addressing the court, he fixed his gaze on someone sitting in the second row behind Elena, a man in a gray suit, hands resting on his knees, almost blending into the crowd. "Your Honor, I'd like to call a surprise witness. Someone we've never mentioned until now, but who might hold the key to the entire case." The air changed instantly. The man rose as his name was called. Richard Grant, CEO of Clearview Technologies, the company where Elena once worked as a freelance interpreter, and the one that had filed the fraud complaint that triggered the investigation. Elena turned sharply and recognized him. He was the man who had once praised her as excellent, offered her a long-term contract, and then suddenly vanished. Shortly after, she was charged. Grant took the witness stand. Unexpectedly, he denied nothing. When the judge asked, he calmly admitted, "Yes, I filed the complaint. And yes, I know the data Elena submitted was completely accurate." The courtroom went deathly silent. "Then why did you do it?" Prosecutor Jackson asked, his voice cracking for the first time. Grant smiled faintly. "Because she knew too much." He proceeded to reveal, to everyone's shock, that while working at Clearview, Elena had inadvertently translated internal emails related to cross-border money laundering activities. Moreover, in a private meeting, she had raised concerns about a faulty contract that could harm a group of Latin American immigrant clients. Her actions sparked an internal investigation. Grant knew that if Elena continued, he and others would face federal charges. Instead of silencing her with money, he chose a different path, setting a trap for Elena. He planted false evidence, accusing her of unauthorized data access and misuse of her interpreter role. He never expected she would defend herself and expose everything right in court. "So," the judge said, his hand trembling slightly on the gavel handle, "you fabricated this entire case, destroying Elena's reputation, career, and life, all to cover up a massive financial crime." Grant looked up, his gaze icy cold. "That's how business survives in America, Your Honor." The courtroom erupted. Prosecutor Jackson immediately called to dismiss all charges against Elena and requested that the FBI launch an independent investigation into Clearview Technologies. Police stepped forward and handcuffed Richard Grant on the spot amid a frenzy of camera flashes. Underscore, 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 underscore. Elena stood silently, not happy, not angry, just quiet. A part of her had suspected this, but she never imagined the cruelty and ruthlessness of the system she was up against. She had won, but at the cost of her honor, her career, and months of being branded a fraud by society. But she had proven one thing. No one is too small to expose the truth, as long as you have enough courage. Underscore, 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 underscore. 1 week after the trial, Elena stood quietly in her small apartment on the outskirts of Seattle. The midday sun streamed through the window, catching her still red eyes, red from sleepless nights and too many nameless worries. She held a newspaper, her own face on the front page, with the bold headline, "The Lone Woman Who Took Down a billion-dollar Corporation." It sounded like a victory, like a movie, but only she knew how painful that victory truly was. Not just losing her job or her career's steep decline, but the feeling of the whole world turning its back on her, friends distancing themselves, and being looked at with suspicion despite no proof of wrongdoing. Elena recalled the first night after being fired. She had thought about running away, about giving up on America, a country she once believed she could live true to her values. But there was one thing that stopped her: her pride. She had done the right thing, and if she didn't stand up and speak out, the bad guys would keep living in the shadows. So she studied law, night after night, teaching herself, and she walked into that courtroom like a lone warrior, and in the end, achieved the impossible. Underscore 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 underscore. Elena's story is not just about justice. It's a powerful reminder that anywhere, even in America, where the law is considered strongest, the truth still needs to be defended with blood, sweat, and courage. Truth isn't automatically respected. Justice doesn't just appear. It must be fought for by the voices of ordinary people brave enough to step out of line. Underscore 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 underscore. And if you find yourself in a situation like Elena's, misunderstood, hurt, pushed to the edge, remember, don't be silent. Don't give up. Don't back down. Because as long as you keep the truth in your heart, sooner or later, the light will find you, just like it did for Elena.